watching 13 News, Kansas News Leader.
Good evening, I'm Melissa Bruner.
And I'm Ralph Hipp. Welcome in. And we're welcoming in the summer heat. It's officially here in Northeast Kansas. And we're getting word it's about to get hotter.
Temperatures are at dangerous levels.
Yes.
So we go right to Jeremy Goodwin in the Weather Center for a look at how long this will be sticking around. Jeremy?
Hi, Ralph, Melissa. We have heat index values well above the century mark right now. Here are the official numbers now. 106 in Topeka, that's the current heat index. Manhattan 107, it feels like 102 in Concordia. How about Salina 112? Right now. We do have a chance of seeing a few isolated thunder showers this evening. Supercast shows a weak cold front moving through. Temperatures won't be brought down very much. As a matter of fact, tomorrow easily in the lower to mid 90s again. Heat index still close to 100. Quick check of the weekend forecast. Friday could be soggy, and then this weekend coming up, Saturday and Sunday, nice upper 80s to around 90 degrees. So a cool down by then, but still hot midweek. We should be around 95 Wednesday. Your full 8-day forecast is coming up.
Jeremy, thank you. Topeka's police chief spoke with local church ministers today about the KKK flyers that turned up in a Topeka neighborhood last week. Those flyers said residents could sleep knowing the KKK was alive. 13's Carrie Larson went to today's meeting. Carrie, how are they addressing the situation?
Melissa, the Black Ministers Association in Topeka was very concerned about the flyers and wanted to know what the Topeka Police Department was doing about it. A major topic discussed today was getting the community more involved with its police officers in hopes of keeping an incident like Charleston or Ferguson from happening here. This flyer turned up on lawns on the 1900 block of Southwest Cheyenne and two other blocks in the area, but spread concern through the capital city.
It was obviously concerning. You know, I've been here for 9 months and we've never seen any type of pamphlets like that in anybody's yard before.
It was unfortunate that they went out in this 21st century.
It was especially alarming to the Black Ministry Association that this happened during the same week as the Charleston shooting, which is why Police Chief James Brown spoke with some of its members.
We might say a coincidence, but it's also a great thing as well because it affords us an opportunity to sit down and have some conversations that we might not have had these things not come out.
Chief Brown and Pastor T.D. Hicks will also have the opportunity to speak with state officials in a national conference in Washington, D.C. to find out how they dealt with similar situations.
We'll be able to learn from those lessons of other communities on what worked very well and what didn't work so well and what they wish they would have done differently.
In hopes to keep any incident related to the KKK flyers from happening in Topeka.
So we can come back and begin to package some type of a strategy so that we will never have to face those same issues and situations that other communities have had to face.
Chief Brown says they have not found who distributed the flyers, but did say the flyers themselves are not a crime because they'd be protected by the First Amendment.
Carrie, thank you. The results are now official. Voters in one local school district said no to raising the local option budget, while those in another said yes, though the outcome perhaps might have been different if voters had signed their ballots. Shawnee County commissioners met today as the Board of Canvassers. In USD 501, they took a closer look at more than 300 provisional ballots in a race decided by only 100 votes. 171 ballots were discarded because the voter did not sign the ballot. Another 22 ballots were thrown out because the signatures did not match voter records.
Again, with a mail ballot election, though, if it is not a matching signature, it sometimes can be difficult to tell whose signature it is. I mean, there's just no way to know who might have gotten a hold of that ballot and signed it in a different manner. Sometimes with mail ballots, it's very difficult to actually determine if it wasn't the voter, then who was it? You don't always know. So it'd be kind of hard to find someone who would admit to having signed that. That can be a challenge.
Topeka schools can now raise the local option budget up to a 33% level. The measure failed in the Auburn-Washburn School District, though the margin there more than 1,100 votes. About 90 provisional ballots were counted today, but that did not affect the outcome.
More than 400 people living around Shawnee County don't have a home. The Topeka Shawnee County Homeless Task Force released the numbers from its January point-in-time homeless count today. It shows of the nearly 180,000 people here in Shawnee County, 403 are counted as homeless. The data shows 55% of the homeless residents are grown men, 20% are under the age of 18. The task force members will use these figures to determine how to operate and update the programs for homeless people. And you can find the further details on WIBW.com. We'll be taking a closer look at the issue of poverty facing local children on 13 News at 10. The attorney for the man accused of those 4 Kansas deaths in Franklin County wants the trial moved to a different county. And 30-year-old Kyle Flack is charged with killing 2 men, a woman and her young daughter, on a farm in the Ottawa-Pomona area in 2013. He also faces a count of rape. Flack has pleaded not guilty. The motion for the change of venue says that Flack simply cannot get a fair trial in Franklin County because of the pre-trial publicity. The motion doesn't name any preferred new trial site, though. A motions hearing is set for June 30th to determine whether the court documents sealed by the judges should be unsealed.
Police are investigating the death of a 10-year-old boy in a Kansas swimming pool. Ottawa police were called Saturday night to Great Life Golf and Fitness on reports of a missing boy. Police found 10-year-old Devin Lee Rice submerged in the swimming pool at the facility. Rice was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Witnesses say Rice had been swimming with other children in the pool without a family member present. An autopsy is planned. Keeping students from going hungry this summer is the goal of one new summer lunch program. The Salvation Army teamed up with Topeka Public Schools Child Nutrition Services and the Topeka Housing Authority to offer sack lunches during the week. The sack lunches are offered at Echo Ridge and Pine Ridge Park and feature cheese, crackers, nuts, a juice box, and milk. On average, more than 30 students a day are stopping by.
That's my favorite part about doing this, that I know the kids aren't eating. If we weren't doing this, that's 34 kids a week who wouldn't have gotten to eat food. So that's the awesome part about this program.
Raise Kansas, a part of the United Way, also is part of the program, serving up books with the Salvation Army to keep kids reading through the summer months. The American Red Cross will help families beat the heat. They're partnering with West Arm Energy to hand out more than 100 box fans tomorrow. Distribution begins at 1 p.m. at the Red Cross office. That's at 1221 Southwest 17th Street. 1 fan per family, and you must be a Topeka resident. Governor Sam Brownback is looking to get more highway patrol troopers on Kansas roads. When asked last week what areas of state government should receive increased funding, Brownback named the highway patrol but offered no specifics. KHP spokesman Lieutenant Adam Winters says the patrol currently has 399 troopers. That is the lowest since 2005. At the end of last year, no troopers were assigned to 21 Kansas counties, and 34 other counties only had 1 trooper. Should you be able to know details of a KCC employee settlement deal? Who's raising that question and why? Coming up.
Also, when we return, take a trip back in time to a local summer camp.
You're watching 13 News at 6 with Melissa Bruner and Ralph Hipp. 13 News, Kansas News Leader. You're watching 13 News, Kansas News Leader.
Students were putting on their hiking shoes on this very hot Monday, not to climb a mountain, but instead to head back in time.
The Shawnee County Historical Society hosted its annual summer camp today. Students from school groups, parks and rec organizations, and the YMCA will gather at the Ritchie House for 6 weeks. They're learning about the different trails that have influenced American life throughout time. Students will take a look at the Oregon Trail, Santa Fe Trail, and Civil War history. It ends with a chuck wagon feed later in July.
The Topeka Capital Journal and Kansas Press Association want the Shawnee County DA to review the Kansas Corporation Commission's decision to deny a recent records request. The newspaper reports the KCC had approved a $29,000 settlement with one of its former employees without comment April 23rd after an executive session. A reporter who was at that meeting filed a request for a copy of the settlement agreement, including the name of that former worker involved. KCC attorney Amber Smith denied the request, saying it contained personal information which would invade that person's privacy and was exempted under KORA, the Kansas Open Records Act. However, attorney Michael Merriam, who represents the newspaper and the Press Association, said that contracts with employees of any public entity like the KCC are subject to open records laws. Mother Nature was sure turning up the heat all around our corner of Kansas.
See how high we'll climb and if any relief is in sight. Jeremy Goodwin is in with your forecast next.
This is your 13 weather forecast with Jeremy Goodwin.
Temperatures are very hot. Heat index values above 100 degrees again today. Let's see what's going on out there. It is going to be a hot evening. And then looking ahead to Friday, hope you can make it out to this, the Art of Murder at Washburn University. If you want to find out more about this, you can call 357-5211. Still a few tickets available. Gates open at 6 p.m. on Friday. This is the Topeka Civic Theater and Academy that does this show each year and should be a great time. Slight chance of rain by 10 p.m. with temperatures falling into the mid-70s. But again, that phone number, still available. It has been hot today. Temperatures scorching. As we look ahead to the evening, by 9 p.m., 87 degrees. A few isolated rain showers possible in our area, and a severe storm not out of the question. If we saw that, it'd be isolated, not a widespread soaking rain, but a weak cold front moving in will give us a chance of a storm or two. With the heat index this hot and a weak cold front moving through, there's always a chance of seeing a storm or two, but 95% of the area will be dry. Now, our temperature is currently in the 90s. Salina has 100 degrees for the official temperature. That's not the heat index, that's the actual temperature. And as I show you the close-up view here on our Capitol Federal Live Storm Tracker, we've got the live sweep running. You can see this line right there, a few hit-or-miss showers across the southeast part of Brown County. That line extending down to Pottawatomie County near Onega and close to Manhattan. That skinny green line is the cold front itself, and you can see it slowly making its way south and eastward. As that moves to this extremely warm, extremely humid air mass, a chance of seeing an isolated storm or two pop up, at least until sunset. If it goes with that much heat energy and the extremely high temperatures, certainly a severe storm would not be out of the question. So along and south of this line from Manhattan to Salina up to Hiawatha, if anywhere south of there, the next 3 or 4 hours, the risk of having an isolated severe weather event does exist. Hail and winds, the primary threats. I don't expect to be dealing with tornadoes this evening, but if we have anything severe, of course, we'll let you know right here on TV, WIBW.com, social media, and everywhere we possibly can. But 93 now in Topeka, south-southwest wind, and the heat index values remain well above the century mark. Supercast shows that cold front moving southward, isolated storms, again, not widespread. And then tomorrow we'll see that same front coming back through from the south. Winds are from the north behind the front, Salina, Hiawatha, north winds. Now tomorrow, the cold front will actually start to return as a warm front. We'll see isolated storms along that boundary again. Not a widespread soaking rain, not enough to cool things down significantly, but at least bringing some rain chances around the area. 91 tomorrow. Chance of some scattered storms, 8-day forecast. We remain very hot on Wednesday, back to 95, heat index close to 105 again. And then on Thursday, 92 the chance of rain. Friday we could see rain, but I think that will be late Friday. So we're heading out to Washburn University for the Art of Murder. Should be a great time. And I really think the rain should hold off until at least the end of the event. They should get the show in. Perhaps the after show events will be a little soggy. We'll see.
All right, we will.
Very nice.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
We will be hearing from a new addition to Team USA for the World University Games. They tip off tomorrow. We have the story coming up next.
And the Kansas City Royals, they're now trailing in a crucial spot on the All-Star roster, and Chris will have the update on that when we come back.
13 Sports with Chris Lilly.
Hello everyone. The goal to get an all Kansas City Royals AL All-Star team has hit a little speed bump. Eric Hosmer right now no longer a starter. Hosmer is not in first place anymore in the voting at first base. Motown has pushed Miguel Cabrera into first. In the last week, Cabrera received over 4 million votes. Hosmer about 2.2 million. Hos trails by over 1.3 million votes, but that would be the only spot the boys in blue would lose. They still hold 7 out of 9 starting spots, including Salvador Perez and Kendrys Morales. They're both still in first. Fans still have time to get in their 35 votes in. The All-Star game is July 14th, and we'll take a quick look at the whole AL All-Star roster. Miguel Cabrera, we said he passed Hosmer. Omar Infante, he is still ahead of Astros' Jose Altuve, but by less than 500,000 votes. Mike Moustakas in front of Josh Donaldson of the Blue Jays. Also, that's getting closer. Alcides Escobar with a healthy lead over Jose Iglesias at shortstop, and at DH, Kendrys Morales over Nelson Cruz. Salvador Perez with a huge lead over Russell Martin at catcher. In the outfield, a little shakeup. Mike Trout at first, Lorenzo Cain second, and Alex Gordon in at third. The Kansas City Royals with a late game against the Seattle Mariners tonight, 9:10 our time. Joe Blanton takes his 1-0 record up against King Felix Hernandez and his 10-3 record. The Kansas Jayhawks are getting ready to play Team Canada tomorrow at the Sprint Center as a part of the World University Games. The KU Jayhawks lost Devontae Graham last week, and they have replaced him with Julian DeBose from Florida Gulf Coast University. He averaged 11.6 points and almost 4 rebounds a game last year as a junior. He'll be joining the Jayhawks and an SMU Mustang sporting Kansas, USA, and these new jerseys.
It's an amazing experience, of course. I've never been, to Kansas. I've never been or seeing a locker room like this or seeing any facilities like this. And I'm just glad and blessed and completely thankful from Dooley and Coach Self to allow me to be on the team. I'm a versatile player. I can do pretty much everything on the court, and I'm a pretty good leader, and I'm a very positive person. Always, in my teammates' ears, let them know that you can do it, no matter what. I expect to come in, work hard, and win a medal. That's my expectations. Win a gold medal.
Also, the USA women's soccer team, they start the round of 16 matchup against Colombia tonight. The game kicks off at 7 p.m. and Colombia has gone as far as guaranteeing the victory over the Americans. Colombia is ranked almost 30 spots lower than the USA in the FIFA World Rankings. Colombia, they beat France and tied Mexico in the group stage. Also, Ralph and Melissa, we have more on Pete Rose betting on the Cincinnati Reds as a player online at WIBW.com.
Some new bigger figures on that story from long ago. Chris, thank you for the update tonight.
We'll be checking back with Jeremy to find out when you might see some breaks from the heat coming up next.
This is your 13 weather forecast.
This has been a very hot day. Temperatures made the upper 90s. The heat index has been ranging from 105 to about 110 this afternoon. Still very hot out there. Here's what we have as a live view from the Jayhawk Tower, Parish Hotel's Ramada Hotel and Convention Center camera. A few clouds. Heat index still 102 in Topeka, 107 in Manhattan. And we do have a little line associated with a cold front moving through. It may set off a shower storm, that line from Holton to Manhattan. Anything south of that does have a chance of seeing an isolated storm this evening or tonight. Scattered rain possible tomorrow, highs in the low 90s. All kinds of sun on Wednesday, very hot with a heat index around 105 again, and a chance of rain Thursday into Friday.
Thank you, Jeremy. Melissa sees me during the commercial breaks. I check what CBS has, and we've got all kinds of new things going on. Big Brother is returning later this week on Wednesday and Thursday. Under the Dome is coming back this week as well. And Zoo, the James Patterson book, is brought to CBS as a summer series. Zoo starts a week from tomorrow.
Next week, Thursday, Extent with Halle Berry is coming back as well. Of course, with the hot weather, some serious reminders for you on WIBW.com. Today, there's a story of a little girl in California who passed away after being left in a hot car. So please do remember to take all the precautions in the heat, including putting some tangible reminder that a child is in the car with you so that doesn't happen to you. And of course, for yourself, keep yourself healthy by staying hydrated, taking breaks, staying in the shade. We're just beginning summer and in earnest. These really hot temperatures can be very dangerous, so important to pay attention to your health.
A few more afternoons into the 90s and possibly 100. So stay inside with us, and if you are, Wheel of Fortune and our CBS Monday Night are coming up for you next. We'll be right back here with you at 10.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Get the latest news, weather, and sports on WIBW.com or follow WIBW on Twitter and Facebook. WIBW TV, Heartland Regional Emmy Award for Evening Newscast.